Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKEL. We're on to our second match of week 5. I'm still Will Viper Willingham. I'm still joined by Harry Dr. Evans. That way? Yes, first time. Did it. I'm proud of myself. And we've got London United coming up against Viperio. And do you know, I feel kind of dirty on this one, real talk, Harry, because I was Viperio's only savior last week. Well, I say only savior. I was the only one who believed in Viperio last week. Came in, they proved everyone wrong, and this week I've backed London United to win this game. So, I've flip-flopped a little bit, but two very strong rosters in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's two very strong sides. I mean, I love watching these teams. They're fun to play against as well. I mean, if Kaz gets Lucian in this game, we're going to be in for a treat, but I know that he's been offered it before and not locked it in. Johnny Rico is definitely one of the stronger junglers in the league as well, which has been really, really good to see. I think we saw him in the... we played him in the playoffs of the open qualifiers for the UKLC, right? Yeah. And we were watching him play. I was like, okay, this guy's got he's got some sort of issues. Looks like he's just a Talia one trick. Doesn't really have too much in the way of things like a tempo. Right? He's playing a high tempo champion, but not really sort of being out on the map, being in the right place, right time. And I was like, this guy's kind of like whatever. Okay, fine. But watching him sort of play over the course of the last few weeks is sort of really I don't know, he's either really stepped up or he was just hard slumping during the qualifiers, because he looks like a force to be reckoned with right now.
A very scary player. Mawa, another player who's also stepped up in a roster that maybe hasn't delivered so much yet. Of course, these two teams still going to be hoping that they can push towards those playoffs, but with Revenge winning last game, it's going to be the bottom teams. If there's some upsets on the cards this week, we're going to be in for a very, very exciting last couple of games for everyone, because, of course, top 4 teams make it into those playoffs, and these two teams both not necessarily guaranteed anything by any stretch, but basically both of these teams are going to come into this one and look at it and say, this is a winnable game.
Yeah.
Right, we're in chat, ladies and gentlemen. We've got London United on the blue side. We've got Viperio on the red side, and going to be Talia taken off the table immediately. You said it yourself. Very, very strong player on that one, going to be taken off the cards.
Yeah, it's very much Enrico's favorite champion, so just get that one right out of here. I think, before it was a bit of a death sentence to take that champion away from him, but now I think it's more than okay. But then we also see the Cogmore being banned out from Sykes there as well. But if he had a decent performance on it last week, I think.
It's been popular around the UK and LEC as well. Of course, seeing it in the UKLC and the NLC and the LEC in the last week or so. So don't want to be giving that into the hands of Sykes. Aphelios and Volibear taken off the table, two very strong champions in their own right. It's going to be taken away from London United. And London United might be the roster, that I think has the most unrealized potential so far. Of course, your own Lucendi haven't won a game yet and have looked pretty decent in a lot of cases.
Thanks for reminding me.
I survived over a game without saying it, so it's okay.
Good time.
London United...
I'm well versed with both these teams, so I've lost to both of them. Oh, you hate to see it. You really
Come on, man. I
today will be different. Honestly, I looked up. We got the tweet today about our predictions, right? And apparently it was wrong, but it still didn't hurt. Even with the corrected version, it's still pretty bad. So I cracked it open. I'm like, oh, I've got 2 points. Don't worry, guys. I've actually got 4. On my predictions. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, my team's. Oh, we're 0-4. Oh, maybe I'm just washed.
Maybe that's the issue.
Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Well, I mean, you called a lot correct last game, so I mean, you've got that going for you, I guess.
Great. Well, we've also got a B1 Trundle, which I have some quandaries with.
What are your quandaries, Mr. Doctor?
It's just not great, is it? On Blue Side, you want to get something that's like a turbo power pick or something that you can flex.
Okay.
And Trundle isn't really either of those, and he's also very hard counterable. Elise exists, Kindred exists, Graves doesn't exist this time around because he's been banned. But basically ranged champions exist, and you can go things like phase rush to try and negate that as the Trundle, but it's still pretty rough. However, with the set being picked into him, you are having a slightly better time, and also the set being picked alongside the Thresh now actually makes this no chance of it being a set bot. So I wonder if we maybe see something like a Mordekaiser here to force that set into the jungle, which is a okay matchup there for the Trundle. But then maybe you run the chance that you just get something like a Gangplank being locked in or something like that. from Viperio, and then you're stuck with this Mordekaiser. But either way, early picking a set and then a role that he can flex into is potentially a bit rough.
Definitely, and I'm excited by this Zyra pickup, and if that is the misfortune going to be locked in as well, a very aggressive bot lane coming in from Kum Kum, and the Heathen, Kaz and Dimmy. Gonna have to be a little bit careful in that one.
Yes. Is this a... Thing is, you want Zyra Misfortune? Like, grab something like Jarvan, right? Trundle can work with... in terms of setting up for a lane, right? Like for a combo like this. Because he has the old, the old pillar. Very hard to do, though. You know, you think that Cataclysm is basically just a ring of pillars. You can use pillar to zone someone into a Misfortune Note if you're a skilled enough Trundle player.
You can.
But you're just making your life hard for yourself right now. And so it's kind of weird you sort of pick this combo. You could have just grabbed something that would synergize with it a lot nicer. But again, we see the Trundle first pick, which means for the Nidalee response, another fine counter for Trundle has just been locked in there. And now what happens is Johnny is just going to out-farm the Trundle, speed through him, and also if ever Trundle wants to go for like a level 3 gank, the Nidalee can just be there and counter it very easily if she wants. So rough times for Mauer so far into the draft as we move on to the second phase of bans.
This is, of course, assuming that the Trundle will go into that jungle rather than into the top lane. Is there any chance of that?
Well, not really. I mean, depending on matchup, maybe, but also with Graves off the table, there's not really anything you could pick that would actually beat out Nidalee. So it's kind of like, well, you're not going to get a better match. Okay, you can get a better matchup than this, but it's not like you're going to get a winning matchup by flexing the Trundle. I don't know, maybe if like Maokai is locked in, but then, with this, no, the set's already going top. The set's guaranteed to be going top, so there's nothing you could really pick that would clown on the Nidalee, I think. So you might as well use this opportunity to grab yourself a Mordekaiser so that you can at least clown on the set. I mean, if you have Mord, your comp isn't great teamfight-wise, but... So I'm just going to go ahead and lock in the Ornn. Ah, you are very quiet. And by very quiet, I mean muted. Is that
I am muted because I'm a moron because I had to cough. That's an Ornn lock-in. Good in team fights. How does it do against the set?
He loses 30 CS, but he doesn't ever really die, but he just sort of casually loses when team fights it. And it's like, you've got the... You know what you're picking into. You could have, like, Alifik again, a set again. Mordekaiser, great time versus set, right? But that doesn't fit with the team comp because you've gone for this sort of combo with Zyra Misfortune. But what also doesn't fit with this team comp is Trundle. So it's kind of like you're now forced to take a suboptimal pick in the Ornn to make this combo work because you really wanted for Trundle. And is that going to be worth it? Probably not. So we'll see how it pans out, of course, but I'm sort of not really a fan of the order that this has gone through here.
Talkie going to be the final lock-in coming through for Viperio. Going to be putting that one in the hands of Sykes, and a lot of strong champions in that roster. Desire is one that catches my eye, though. Can you talk to us a little bit about what this champion is going to be bringing in the hands of Kaz?
Damage. Next question.
Short and sweet. I like it.
I mean, I think it's going to be this is definitely a champion that seems like the kind of champion that Kaz could very, very much pop off on. We look at we've got the bans though, and it's Kog'Maw, which is a mid lane ban, but hey ho, and then Ezreal, Ashe, and Lucian. So Kaz's pool is getting a little bit pinched here, but he's still more than comfortable on this Xayah, and it's maybe a little rough versus the Misfortune of Xayah when you have sort of the shorter range, you're going to be poked out quite a lot. But if Dimi ever hits a hook, if he's ever able to get through those plants and land that one, it's pretty much a guaranteed kill for Kaz and Dimi there. And then once you hit level 6, at least Kaz has the ultimate to keep himself alive if the Heathen ever goes for anything particularly spicy.
And with the Zyra Misfortune, I'm hopeful that some spicy stuff will come through because Zyra's a champion we don't get to see too much of. Not like the most bizarre out of the left field champion, but having this super aggressive bot lane, I'm very excited to see it. But of course, Sykes locked in the Corki as the final pick. We didn't touch on that one too much. What do you make of this mid lane matchup?
Yeah, there's not a lot to make of it, really. It's just they go even, and then you call it a day. And they trade prior a little bit. I believe that the something that will be kind of important here is the mana economy, right? In that the Corki can definitely outpush a Orianna because he just has like higher attack speed and better autos, right? But Orianna has like spells which are kind of useful. but they cost a lot of mana. So
Yeah.
early on, as in the very earliest levels, first few minutes of the game, the Orianna can outpush the Corki. But if she goes too long without recalling, suddenly Corki's going to have a really heavy control of the lane, and we'll have to see if that's something that Articuno and Mauer can coordinate. And the answer is probably not really, because there's not a lot of Trundle can do to punish Van Italy. And then on the flip side, if Sykes and Johnny Rico can then use the part where it starts to come back into Corki's favor to then punish for Trundle.
The Trundle pickup is something that's going to be focal, I think, in a lot of our discussions this game, because there was so much priority placed in it. It was B1 pick when there was so much power left on the table. Of course, Syndra was available, Set was available, Fresh was available, very, very strong bot lane pickup, and all of these were passed aside for this jungle pickup, which you haven't seemed too convinced on. So definitely going to be keeping our eyes on that one. But which of these two compositions do you prefer?
Without the Trundle, I'm kind of a fan of of the blue comp here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it does have the Trundle. Okay, the Trundle's not terrible, right? And the Trundle definitely serves the purpose. Well, we're flaming the Trundle like too much. It's just not perfect. The thing is that you do now have this. When I look at it as a 5, it's very good, right? But when you look at it in its individual parts, like, okay, well, the 2v2 bot is fine, but when you bring in the Trundle there, it's like the 3v3 is like not that. Yeah, is too much going to be able to happen down there? I don't know. Well, what happens to the 2v2 with the Trundle Orianna? It's like, well, not really a lot. And then the Trundle Ornn, not really a lot. Well, can the Orianna roam out down to one? Not really, because she's versus the Corki, right? So if they can get a full-on 5v5 fight, yeah, they'll probably have a decent enough time. But I think the ability to make that happen is way, way, way more favored over to the team that has Van Italy on it, right? Johnny Rico is going to have much more control of the map and much more of a say over how this game pans out. And so he'll be able to use that to do, try and get some ganks onto the a bit more consistent to gank for bot lane of Desire Thresh versus the very immobile Misfortune and Zyra. And then also use the prior that the Corki and the Set will be able to generate.
Going to be loading into this one pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. London United taking on Viperio in our second match of Week 5 UKEL. To sum up basically your thoughts on London United's comp, you like what they got, but you don't like how they got there.
Kind of, yeah. Again, I like the 5v5 aspect of it, but I'm very much looking at it in a vacuum, and when you look at it in like a realistic sense of how they're going to get to that 5v5, it gets a lot harder. As for London to, get to that point, right? Like, yeah.
Absolutely. We are now, of course, loading in, ladies and gentlemen, so that does mean we can see what Summoners people are taking and what Keystones people are taking. Mr. Doctor, is there anything that really stands out to you that might need explaining to the viewers at home?
No, nothing too spicy coming through here. We see that Mauer did end up going for press the attack, so no phase rush shenanigans here, but realistically should not be looking to ever be sort of even facing Van Italy. I mean, no, okay, if he can get onto Van Italy, he can actually run her down, but Johnny Rico should be able to space him out quite nicely. So maybe phase rush could have been pretty useful there in that regard, but outside of that, nothing too fancy.
Excited to jump into this one. Phase rush on the Orianna, is that something that's pretty standard?
Yeah, it's fine there. I don't know if it's standard versus the Corki or not, but it's something we definitely see very often. I mean, move speed's nice at the end of the day, right? I'm actually it's finding interesting that no one's really taken Ghost yet today. Ghost got Ghost was in a decent enough spot before, and then it got some disgusting buffs, and then it got even more buffs. And the thing is that Ghost was run over TP before it got nerfed. So Ghost was in a certain state, and then it got nerfed, and then people started running TP. And then TP got nerfed like 3-4 times in a row, and people were still running TP mid. And then Ghost got buffed back up to where it was before, and people are still running TP. It's like, hang on.
Wait a second.
And then Ghost got buffed even more. So I think Ghost is kind of really slept on right now, and also it's just like really fun that you can just like get the movement and try and dodge everything. But at the end of the day, having TP to be able to go for a 1-3-1 when you've got the sort of like this is fine and dandy too.
I mean, we did see it a little bit in the earlier game with Ornn because of the Summoner Spellbook. We saw this speeding around a little bit, but of course, we are now into this game, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be London United on the blue side, taking on Viperio on the red side. And it looks like Viperio might be going for something a little bit spicy as all 5 members move towards the top lane.
I mean, their level 1 CC is, their level 1 invade is kind of there, right? You've got the hook, you've got maybe Thresh could skip if you wanted to, and then you've got a lot of damage. But they are running into a Ornn or a Trundle, and they also, they've made it in pretty sneakily here, as Victor could get flashed on by Dimi. But instead, the play is just to try and secure some vision in the round jungle. And once this happens, the vision will of course be traded back by Coom on the bot side of the map.
Quick recalls coming through from the Nidalee, Zaya, and the Fresh. Vision coming down, hasn't spotted that Mawa in that bush, but it's not going to matter because they will be able to spot out Viperio on the Ornn. Of course, got to remember these London United players play together a lot coming out of the university scene. Were picked up as a 5 by London United as an org and have been looking to show that the sum of the parts is often greater than the individuals. Not saying that we don't have some great individual players in the squad.
I have issues with something in this game right now. I mean, just in general too, but also.
I see what you have.
Yeah.
Secret tech. For those of you wondering.
Let's just wait. I just want to see if someone's got a notice at some point. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Mirai's cracked it in the chat there, boys. The Heathen
doesn't feel like he needs items this game, but that's just confidence, if nothing else. I've seen stranger things in UKEL this split, saving for first bat, blasting one. So that'll be fine, but we'll see how that affects him when he's going to be able to get back and rectify that error if he decides to immediately, or will in fact.
I mean, he's kind of doomed. Is the thing.
He's spotting.
Because he can recall and get it now, but he's just going to miss so much XP. So the longer that Kaz and Dimmy can keep them in the lane, the better it is, right? Because there's time that Heathen's not stacking up gold.
Do you know what they need? They need a big, fat Viperio TP gank to get that lane messed up. They need some jungle pressure to cause an issue.
No, it's jungle difference, true.
Yeah, of course. No, you forget to
true,
it's jungle diff, right?
Yeah, jungle difference.
In the game. But
come on, Johnny.
Speaking of those junglers, we've got Trundle in the bot side, Lily in the top side. Not going to be doing the mirror jungle that we saw from the last game, so going to be on different sides of the map when they've got a dump off when they hit that level 3. Trundle moving towards the bot side could be looking to try and make penance for the issues of the Heathen, but the Heathen now has gone back, got that red ward to value.
Yeah, Heathen's got him. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, what a gamer. And like you said, the jungle's not mirroring there, which I think that could have been seen coming by Johnny. You think that the Zyro Misfortune obviously wants to push, so they don't want to be leashing. So you could expect that the Trundle would start topside, because he has finished that one up and is now moving on down bot. And you see he's got the Prior from the mid lane, as we said would happen. The early push coming through from the Orianna, but she is on half her mana. And this will mean that he's able to go and grab that crab, as Johnny Rico trades it for the one on the top side of the map.
Orianna in the mid lane, champion that could have seen last game, but Nice Guy Dom obviously chose not to go for it. Articuno now with that one can make team fights very, very interesting. And as you alluded to earlier, team fighting from London United, should they get to that point, is really, really scary.
Yeah, if they can get the full 5v5, it's fine. But it has to be the 5v5, again, because of the Trundle, right? You think that if this was a Jarvan, yeah, you can do this as a 4v4 or 3v3 down bot. But the Ornn is kind of now the most important part, which makes life very difficult. Ooh, look at the moves.
Articuno are going to be flashing away happy feet on the robot in order to keep her alive, but
he was too fast.
Too speedy.
He was too fast and juked back into the javelin there. So does end up losing the flash, but now that the Heathen has returned with items, the Wave's in a very nice spot here for him and Coom as they're going to try and get a little bit of harass coming across here and maybe threaten some jungle presence once Mao resets, heads back on over to that side of the map. But of course, the XP lost by the Heathen does a pretty good job of negating most of that impact.
Yeah, gonna have a little bit more on the Misfortune, so like to see that champion hitting 6 first because of that little bit of solo XP that was gained, but not gonna be... Overall, I don't think the mistake was too damaging. All things considered, I think they dealt with it reasonably well, but you don't want to be having any kind of mistakes when you're in a competitive game of such importance, because as we said, this game is one that both of these teams are going to look at and go, this is a must-win game if you want to keep our playoff hopes alive.
Yeah.
And a big mistake, like a mistake like that, could cause problems going on to this game.
Yeah. Now, something I want to mention here is we do see the tier being picked up by Articuno. So something that you see kind of often with Oriannas now going for this Seraph's build. He doesn't like a good tier. The thing is that I think that it's very good for extended fights. right? And then for drawing things out, and it's a nice and slow build like we were talking about last game. But in this, you want the explosive fight. You want people to die now. Speaking of which, Jimmy's in a...
Caught out as the flash away, Ignite is running, but Johnny's in the neighborhood. And as you say, this 3v3 is not really that great for London. So they're going to back away, but do get the flash out of the fresh room.
Yeah, they managed to blow that flash there. I think Kim wasn't quite there to bring up any damage, but don't think it would have made too much impact. But as I was saying, before so rudely interrupted by Articuno taking a fair bit of damage here in the middle of Buddy.
A lot of damage. One more second might be enough. The flashboard will secure the first blood. Sykes getting that one on the Corki and more interruptions, but this time it's for a kill.
I think Articuno thought he was baiting that pretty well, but then Sykes just dashes on in and autos him one time and gets that there kill. And that's pretty good for Sykes. That's going to allow him to get some control. And actually, exemplifies my point perfectly. Because Sykes went back and got himself a pickaxe. Articuno went back and got it here. And in this matchup, I think you do kind of need a little bit of the extra early something coming out from the Orianna, especially to help out your jungler. And we see what happens here is that Sykes goes for the early buy and Articuno goes for something low and slow and ends up paying for it with that solo kill. But this also means that he's not going to have the Lost Chapter finished up fast enough, so he's going to have to worry about mana a lot more than he would like. And then he's also building up for this slow mid-game spike and looking for the drawn-out team fights, when in reality you kind of just want to make sure that people die as fast as possible. So I think that people end up going for this Liandry's and not always Liandry's, but they go for the Seraph and then usually Liandry's on the Orianna in situations where they don't need to. And then sometimes they're like, okay, I don't need Liandry's, so I'll get Morello because I want Pen, because I want Burst. But it's like, well, if you want Burst, then why have you got the Seraphs? Because you could have a Ludens, right? So yeah, we'll see how it pans out, but it's something that I see people doing maybe a bit more than they need to.
Interesting enough, London United were the slower of the two teams to get to the Dragon, but were the first of the two teams to get the lane swap in, meaning they're going to be able to catch that nice fat wave.
Yes, because they weren't at the Dragon. That checks out. That makes sense. It's not that interesting, but it kind of...
You know what?
Kind of checks out.
Harry Dr. Evans, you can shush. I think it's a good thing. I'm glad that they wrote it.
I think it's neat.
For me, it's... Pretty famous caster said that the job of the casters make their co-caster look good. Clearly, I want you about it. Kicking up over at Rift Herald. Mala has got the first kill. Is playing Johnny Rico. No slight available for either team now. As the Trundle does go down, Zuki moving forward, trying to get onto the Heathen. Will be able to get the dunk over the wall towards the basket. The Heathen will go down. Not yet 6. Flash was burst before the kill though, and Kaz needs to be careful going low, but does manage to flash away. Sykes gets the kill there, and it's a clean sweep for London United as they get taken off the map. And it's going to be Viperio securing another great team fight.
And there it is. You need the perfect 5v5 with this comp here from London. And when you don't get it, it goes downhill very quickly. We can see that Sykes has now even finished off his Mura mana. He is absolutely, that mana moon, whichever one it is. He's really getting into this game now. Huge on this Corki 3-0, and again, Articuno has the scaling build, and this is not what the team is going to need right now. Mauer turns up and very promptly turns around, and they might be able to look for a little bit of a fight here.
Looking forward, but not going to find anything. He has got more support than Viperio does. Luke needs to be careful. We'll be able to get a massive shield, but it's going to be taken down mid-transit with the Landon, so London going to be able to pick up a kill on the tail end, but still lose out in the fight overall and still lose the objective. Ooh, Articuno gets burned very low as well. That's not a great sign for this mid lane matchup.
Yeah, Sykes not quite able to get the angle he was looking for to push Articuno away from the tower, which would have surely been a death sentence and or, flash for Articuno there, but does chunk him out quite nicely. This does mean the package will not be available for the Drake fight when that one does come around, because he picked that one up a little bit too early, but he probably doesn't need it given his current state.
Doing a lot of damage, chasing onto Articuno. Doesn't have very much mana, has enough for the shield, but going to be chased away from that lane once again. And Sykes taking over the mid lane, and there's not really much Articuno can do at the minute.
Yeah, he's not having a great time there.
No. But he's not. He's struggling a little, but Orianna, of course, is going to be doing a lot in those team fights, so just going to be holding on for that one, but it's not like Corki isn't going to be a damage threat going forward from now. into eternity as Johnny's going to come and try and catch Viperio. A little bit extended, but not going to be able to do so. The ultimate comes through from the Orn, actually, which is very interesting. He's just going to be clearing out that wave, trying to thin out those minion help us to try and avoid any kind of dive, and looks like it has worked as the members of Viperio do move away.
Yeah, dive is dissuaded there, and now maybe responded to by London on the opposite side of the map. We see Mawa moving in and around. He is spotted out by the crab, but looks like Sykes will be moving along as well. That aftershock being blown could end up being kind of important, but really looks like it's just going to be a little bit of damage coming through here for London. Maybe get a little bit of plate gold if they can, but it looks like that one won't happen. However, they managed to get control in and around the area for this Drake. They don't quite have the deep vision they would have liked to get. Looks like Mawa didn't have any wards on him, and neither did Heathen, who was not up there helping out. But the inside track still owned by London right now. However, with how big Sykes is, he's able to pretty easily clear on out this mid wave to at least deny any sort of mid prio, as Johnny Rico moves down towards the objective as well.
Coming in, looking towards Zuki, will be a 3v2, but so much damage on site. Zuki goes low, the ultimate comes through on the Orianna, will be enough to secure the kill. It's going to be on getting the last hit on that one, as Sykes is pushed away, has to flash away from the damage as well, coming through from the Orianna, but they will manage to survive, as Orn just going to be building up a quick item before this dragon fight. Johnny there, full health though, and it looks like Viperio being a little bit territorial over this dragon area, have decent wall coverage and don't want to give it up without a fight.
Yeah, they're playing this nice and slow because they know that Sykes has TP. Let Sykes recall, he can heal up to full and now come on back into the fight. So even though Zuki was taken out, the dragon was not started up, and now the Herald dropped in the mid lane as well. This is really good for Viperio to be able to knock down this tower. Yes, they may lose their bot lane tower, but they also now have the inside track in towards that their dragons. They don't knock down the mid tower at all. They do not have the damage for that one. I thought that tower was going to be significantly lower in health, but they still get down towards the Drake in time.
Yeah, Dragon going to be started up. 4-5 members. Zuki off in the wings, going to be clearing out bot lane, and there's no opportunity for London to really contest. They sent two back, Victoria and Articuno. Orianna having teleport will not be enough to help secure this Ocean Dragon, as it does go the way of Viperio. As we see which rift we're going to be blessed with, it's going to be the Cloud Rift. This time around, some speedy action in the offing.
Yeah, and this is pretty clearly favoured there over to London if they're able to get their hands on any Cloud Drakes because of their pretty ultimate dependent comp there. But also, nice to note that they do have the little... Ooh, hang on.
Might have binned off more than he can chew, but he went for Dimmy. Johnny going pretty low from the ultimate will be the one who's surviving. As Goom Goom is going to have to flash away from the shield, but might get chased down by Set. He's going to turn onto the Heathen. This Fortune did manage to survive, sneaking out the back of the fight. Articuno comes in with the shield, with the save, and might look to chase on towards the Set, but everyone on London United needs to be careful. There's a lot of poke, a lot of long-range damage, and some very low health bars under that tower. The Heathen and Goom Goom do manage to get away. It's just moving out to Articuno to clean up.
Again, the 3 ain't great for the side of London, but you see there again, Mawa maybe a little bit too far up there trying to walk into Dimir. Now if he had people around him, he can look for the ultimate to try and take out Dimir, especially through the aftershock. That'd be a really good time for Mawa, but he was just a bit too far up on his own. Didn't want to pop that one down, and then of course Johnny Rico turns up, able to grab that kill, because we look over at the state of the game right now. The items are just so good for Viperio right now. They've got the Blade of the Rune King being picked up, Runic Echoes, that Mana Moon being stacked up quite nicely. I'm pretty sure Kaz is sat on like 3k or something. Have a gander what he's got. Okay, yeah, 2.5. Okay, it's pretty close. Should be able to grab the Essence Reaver on that base as well. So, real strong times for Viperio right now, who should be able to move on over towards this soon-to-spawn Rift Herald and grab that one with relative ease. Articuno not having the teleport, not going to be able to come up and join that one. So again, the 5-man fight, which is so important for the London squad, may well not happen.
We'll have to wait and see if they can arrest this bleeding and try and get themselves in a better position. Yes, they're not too far behind in gold. It's a couple of K at this stage, 15 minutes in. So by no means the end of the world. You've got to remember they have an Orn. He will be getting some nice value on those items moving forward when he gets to that level, but you know, you've got to be a little bit worried. The fights haven't been brilliant so far, and the macro play has certainly been favouring Viperio this time around. Dimmy side from Kaz moving in towards that Rift Herald. All of the Viperio squad is there. And they're looking towards Victorio on the Orn. Going to be forcing the flash away, but he's going to be dragged back in. He's be careful. Here comes the package. Here comes the kill. As Sykes secures that one. No escape at all. And now Rift Herald should be on the mend.
And that was the tank for the side of London. It did not go down slowly, to say the least. Now the tower is started up here in the mid lane, and see, it's relatively healthy. Looks like Kaz will be able to defend this one, whilst Johnny Rico goes ahead and secures that there Herald. Now Dimmy might look for a flash engage, but the hook goes wide.
Goes wide this time around. Not going to be able to start anything up, but Nidalee is going to be able to start up the Rift Herald, and should be pretty easy to take once again from Viperio. London United again not in a position to contest, and at this point you might be considering not even bothering, even if you were in that topside jungle, because London United need to get themselves in a better position before they can even think about fighting the Viperio roster.
Yeah, the second Herald, once the plates have gone, is worth a lot less. The thing is, it's really important to be using that second Herald to break down the mid outer tower, especially versus the blue side of the map.
He might be caught out, but it looks like Articuno's going to be the first to flash away. We'll land the ultimate onto 2 members, but he's a 4v1, and Articuno really doesn't win those, manages to dodge out the javelin as Mao comes in for the save and is looking to throw forward. The ultimate coming through from Victoria. Will he be able to land it? He won't. He's going to be played back, but Mara still gets first kill of the fight. Orn falls in the fray, though, as the ultimate from Zyra will only knock up 1, and there's going to be no continuing of that fight. What looked very, very good for London for a short period of time actually turned out to be a very even fight as Kaz looks forward, trying to get onto Mao. He might have overextended a little bit and will go down to make this another Viperio favored fight, as I was saying that. And once again, London United left wondering what happened.
Yeah, they're able to pick up the shutdown onto Sykes, but again, the fight is a little split, and maybe if Mara and Heathen can do enough to keep people around that top tower, they can buy time for Kumkum to turn up and drop the ultimate, but it just doesn't end up happening. So again, kills go over in favor to Viperio, and they're able to reset and move out onto the map. Now, something I wanted to mention is I saw the Glacial Shroud had been picked up by Mao, and I was really interested to see what he would pick up next, because I thought if he gets Zeke's with a misfortune, I'm going to be an angry little man. But he goes for Frozen Heart, which I absolutely adore. Frozen Heart Rush on Trundle. It's so good to get in the CDR. However, you do have the Orn, and the best Orn item for Trundle to pick up is the Iceborne Gauntlet, so we might have another situation here now with the ornaments not being fully used, but in either case, the team with the ornaments is now here at the Drake and able to pick up a Cloud Drake, which is pretty important for their comp.
Yeah, to secure that one, we'll be moving away the first one of the Rift Drake, so the Heathen goes very low. Mauer takes a little love tap on the way out as well, but this time around, London United will get away with it, and that's a nice proactive play from them.
Yeah, they're able to somehow get to that one a little bit faster. Blame it on Orianna W's and call it a day. But whilst this is going on, Johnny Rico is able to build up a little bit of a CS lead there. I say that, he's actually only up 5 creeps. Not really what I was expecting in the Nidalee versus Trundle matchup, to be honest with you. But he's got a little bit of a lead either way, and we'll be able to take a little bit out there. So decent enough job from Mauer to keep up in CS, despite how little control has been had of his own jungle. But every lane on the side of London down in creeps still, so not looking great.
Be able to get away, but won't be able to take down the red ward, which was the target of that play. So vision denial not in full effect this time around, but doesn't turn into a death or anything. So Viperio not going to worry too much. Kaz and Johnny Rico are behind the Orn, standing between him and his tower. He's going to try and get away, but now looking for the re-engage, gets the knock-up onto Nidalee, but this is only buying time, only looking for an escape, but there's not going to be one as Kaz cuts him down. He's going to be pulled back in though, gets the big shield, flashes forward towards the Articuno, wants to get the kill on Orianna, and will be able to do so. That's not a 1v1 that London United are going to feel too happy about as they lose 2 members. Baron spawning in 2 seconds.
Oh, that was pretty clean from Zuki, let's be honest. That was a pretty good one. Okay, I've seen some set solo kills in my life. We'll take that. That's a respectable play. As this one goes on though, however, the tower is lost mid, but Sykes coming with the TP flank.
Coming in, gonna get stared up by the Heathen. Has got the package, will be using it towards Zyra and doing a lot of damage. Mauer now trying to fight Zuki on the bot side. Dimmy coming in, has some damage available, has some CC available, and Cuckoo and the Heathen are just shadowing them on the high ground, looking for the damage, gonna be dodging out some damage, and the chain from Dimmy. Fresh still looking forward. Teleport comes in from Articuno. London United are meeting up once again, looking for the ultimate. Not going to fight this time around. Articuno looking for it again. Still not going to find the targets he wants. And Johnny Rico gets a massive amount of damage on the even. But that is the combo we want to see from London United. That is absolute white in the bot side as they take down all 4 members of Viperio, Victorio, and Kaz fighting in mid lane. Will be able to get a knock up. Will be able to stun down. And members of London United are searching. They want that ace, and they're going to grab it with the shutdown. Articuno securing that one. And Baron is on the map. Will they go for it?
There you go. Okay, they even get the fight without the Ornn there this time around. Because again, I said you don't need the Ornn ult to land the Misfortune ult, but it's pretty nice. And this time they're able to pull it off without it. You see that Sykes is going really deep in there, flashing in, but he gets exhausted and just drops immediately. And now the Baron is the target. What a turnaround for London there. Able to pick up some shutdowns. This is a lot of kills, and they're able to grab the Baron for all 5 members as well.
We talked about ways to get to these team fights, but when they do, it's pretty clean, 5 on 5, and that was a 4 on 4, of course. We didn't have Ornn there, we didn't have Kaz on the Xayah there, but the Misfortune ult just did so much work.
Yeah, and it does bring up a little something I want to talk about. You see, Johnny Rico went down pretty quick, right? And this is because he has gone for this Lich Bane second item. You do have the options on Nidalee, and personally, I'm a bit more of a fan of something like a Athene second item into Iceborne. The thing about the Lich Bane is you very much have to be able to jump in, right? And then you one-hit someone with your Q. Oh, your Q does like 2k damage once you get into Cougar form. But you still have to be able to jump in, and we can see there that with this setup, it's very much focused on getting picks, and when you have a fight like that, Johnny Rico goes down fast. And when you have 2 marksmen like the Corki and the Xayah to be able to put out the damage, I think that it's okay to go for something that's just a little bit more utility focused with your Nidalee build. And interested to see how Johnny's going to adapt as the game goes on, because right now there is a Baron wave pushing on through into the middle lane. Victorio does have the teleport to come and join, so he'll be able to push out his own Baron wave down bot as well. But nice poke coming through from Johnny does tend to dissuade Mauer a little.
Ooh, decent amount of damage coming through, and that Q is gonna go the full distance and secure the kill on to Johnny Rico, and that's another excellent pickup. I don't think I've ever seen a beach ball thrown that far.
You never been to a you never been to a festival where they have the massive beach balls bouncing around in the crowd?
Oh, but that bounced on multiple people. That bounced on one and just knocked him out.
Just one dude went flying.
Yes,
That's
absolute miles. But excellent play, break down the middle tower. Dragon coming up very, very shortly, and going to be what London United have their eyes on next. Of course, they are down dragons, but this is going to be second Cloud 1. They're looking for that Soul Drake, and if they get a 4 Cloud Soul Drake,
That's pretty good.
It's pretty nice.
Well, I mean, when you're an ultimate reliant comp, getting 4 Cloud Drakes, oh, it's okay, fine, if you insist, right? my Trundle ult has a 23-second oh, okay, right? It's... yes, you know? Let's have a look, see. Let's see what's the lowest the Trundle ult will actually end up going. Because, okay, there's also some other ults involved, but hey ho.
You just came out with Trundle. No, none of the other champions have.
Well, I know that the Trundle one goes very low. Let me consult the sacred texts here.
While Mr. Doctor gets his...
okay, so if we have 40% CDR and 4 Cloud Drakes, 36 seconds on the old Trundle ult there.
Oh, that's not fun.
We got that's like 36 on the Ornn ult. The Ornn ult is the 36.
Imagine engaging with Ornn ult and using it to clean up at the end of the team fight.
You literally used it every single wave. Same with the Orianna, same with the Trundle. They're all below 30 seconds there. Misfortunes. 30-second ult cooldowns for everyone, basically.
You don't lose that game. You don't lose the game at that point, right?
I mean, you use the Ornn ult every single wave. If anyone goes for a creep, they get Ornn ult.
Even if they don't.
You're like, oh, Kaden's range, really, it's really cringe, bro. I get crit every time I go for a minion. You get Ornn ulted every time you go for a minion now, so that could be pretty fun.
Well, we're not there yet, though. Only 2 Cloud Dragons so far. Hello.
Wait, yeah, we got Baron has faded out.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not looking. I'm looking at a game of League of Legends, Mr. Doctor.
Oh, you sounded flabbergasted by something.
No, I was just.
You know, I thought you'd spotted something.
No, I'm just still shocked by the whole imagination that there's going to be 4 Cloud Drakes potentially in this game. I don't want that to happen. I know Viperio doesn't want that to happen. They're not in a position right now they're going to be too happy with, right? They had the game in the palm of their hands for all of the early game, but now London have got to the stage where their team fighting can really do the work. Baron has now worn off, so small victories there for Viperio. And again, they're not out of this one, but for the first time in a long time, they do not have the gold left.
Yeah, so let's talk about, so where's this gone wrong, right? Because we're saying that the 5v5s were very good, or that 1-4v4 in particular, were working really well for London. They were able to turn this game around, right? But we should still mention that, yeah, when they don't get that perfect fight, even though the gold has swung back, it's still, it's still in favor of Viperio. So if Viperio keep this in mind, like, okay, they've thrown their lead, but the game's still even. They haven't lost any inhibs. The Baron has timed out, right? So they just need to use the not 5v5 part of the game, and they can start to get leads. Like, you still have this very strong Corki in the mid lane. Kaz is on 3 items as well. He's pretty massive. So if they can go for like a 1-3-1, try to draw people out and across the map and just play calm, play collected, they can look for not 5v5s. They can try and make picks, with the thresh hooks, and then bring in some niddly damage and a bit of Corki poke for good measure. And they can have a really good time still, as they can just stay nice and bit calm and just be like, hey, look, we've thrown a little bit, but it's fine. We're still in this game. We're still... they don't know that it's this even. Of course, they can't see the gold lead, but they can have a rough idea. There's still a very simple path for Viperio to take here. It just seems that there's a bit of mental momentum here right now for London.
Yeah, they're feeling like they're in a nice position. Recall's coming through as well. Baron up at 25. We'll want to be able to contest that one. Dragon up about a minute later. And looking towards those Ornn items, got that Molten Edge now on Coom, so Misfortune going to be hitting pretty hard.
Why hasn't Victor got 2 Ornn items?
He's not feeling it yet. It's okay. Does have the Sunfire Cape, will be looking towards hopefully grabbing a second one up, but this fight, the Heathen takes a lot of damage. To be looking for the engage, will be able to catch on the Mauer. That's the smite if they can get it, but the ultimate from Zyra will be enough to steal the first kill on the fight. On to the fresh as the engaged upon. Comes the engager. Is Victoria going to be able to back away? Will be rooted up, but is very tanky. Not going to worry about a little bit of damage on the backside of that fight as London get the pick they wanted. Not going to be able to turn it into anything. Just going to move back towards their way.
They do have the inside track here. They can use that to now move on down towards the Dragon and start to dissuade this 4 Cloud Drake move. But instead, they've actually split up a little bit to go look for clues. Sykes moving over to the top side of the map. He has his teleport up and available with the Dragon spawning in just 15 seconds. And because they sort of split the difference here a little bit, they're actually not able to get control of the bot side of the map, meaning that Viperio have to all back off. And again, Drake control ceded over to London.
London moving into that mid lane, want to be able to have the minions where they want them for the next fight, the next play. Johnny goes so low just to the Zyra damage, really, and now that's all they need. That's all the incentive that London needs to move towards this Dragon. Don't see this one being taken away unless a very nice fight comes through. Kaz is stepping forward, but the Dragon will be secured. Now they're independent, need to be a little bit careful. Mao will be able to get out, but the members of London, they're looking for a fight. They're looking for the 5v5 once again. They know they can do this in this area. And Articuno has just destroyed the Nidalee. If he jumps into the fight, looking for Cuckoo, he will stay alive, looking for the ultimate set. Should be able to get one punch down. Won't be able to. Misfortune stays alive, and members of Viperio just melting away. Kaz might be looking for one more auto to try and take down the Misfortune. Won't be able to get it because of the shield from Articuno. But goodness me, London United, since that second Dragon fight, they've been turning this game around.
Oh, good lord. Yeah, just don't fight the Misfortune Orianna Ornn team in a choke. It's not that complicated, but like you said, they completely turned around. They completely one-bang Johnny Rico, which vindicates me because I was talking about how I would like to see a tankier build from him. He's completely eliminated from the fight. It's a lovely killer as well to kick things off from Mala, and then Kumkum really aware of the quality over quantity of his ultimates and how important they're going to be. Holds it for a lovely period of time and is able to use that one to just guarantee that final kill onto Demi there. You think that Zuki had a good chance there coming in the fight. He had a pretty nice ultimate, but the fight was too split by that point, and too many of his teammates were far away and or deceased, and as such, he's not really able to turn it around too much there. And again, third Drake, and again the Baron being secured here for London United. And it's as I said, Viperio can still win fights, but they don't want the 5v5. They need to be looking for picks, look for the 1-3-1, go in the side lanes. You've got Set, Corki, you have a really good side lanes right now, and your 1-3-1 is really safe. You have poke, you have wave clear, and you have disengage. You got Nidalee, Xayah, and Thresh in that order, but having now lost the Baron makes that a lot harder.
Yeah, London United moving to the mid lane. Going to be looking to siege down and break open the base if they can. A lot of long-range poke and a bit of wave clear should be enough to secure Viperio that wave and make sure they're not losing tower this time around. Articuno in the bot side, of course, does have teleport, so can be joining the fray if needed, but is definitely looking to spread that Baron buff as wide as possible. Want to be getting as much value out of it as you can if you're on London United, and you're going to be able to do that pretty effectively. You've got to imagine that one lost fight here for Viperio could be yet, and it looks like Viperio wants to start it up. Won't be able to use the ultimate though, as he gets death sentence out of it, but the tower isn't long for this world. It's going to crumble. Articuno and Zuki once again in that fight this time around, looking much better for Orianna. Cancels the flash away and use the ultimate as the inhibitor goes down. So much being burnt from Viperio, and they can't even defend their structures. As it looks like London United are going to be happy to move down towards that bot tower, help out Articuno, who is still standing tall after that fight with Zuki. We'll be able to secure this one moving towards the inhibitor once again.
Yeah, and they're able to move on, grab both the inhibs right here with that Baron, and should be looking to disengage here. And an excellent job there from Viperio of just splitting up the, of London, splitting up the Viperio squad. Because you could see from Viperio, they didn't know what's going on. They're like, okay, we've got 4 people mid. Oh no, let's go defend bot. No, what's going on mid? And they just keep running back and forth, and they don't commit to either of the lanes, and they don't end up getting either of the kills, and they don't end up keeping either of their inhibs. So, pretty rough situation for Viperio to be in there, and it's because London are able to juggle them so effectively within their own base.
London now moving towards that top side of the map, taking everything they can, bleeding the map dry, and now we're looking to get the last bits of value out of that Baron buff. Going to be looking to try and take down that last inner tower and push towards the last inhibitor as well. But Viperio just struggling in the middle stages of this game. And is that testament to the way London United played these last few fights, or is that Viperio maybe not stepping up to the mark?
I think it's a testament to the mental, to be honest, that London were behind, but they knew their win condition, right? They knew what they had to do, and they were able to pull it off and get back into the game. And then the Viperio, they knew what they had to do. They started doing it. They started getting ahead in the game. And then, once it started going wrong, they seemed to forget it, and they start playing into London's hand. And also just in the way that they've been moving, the way they've been over the map, they've seemed a lot less controlled just in themselves. And I think it's mental edge, right? That once they start losing, they're like, oh, okay, what do we do? They start panicking a little bit. And it seems that even when London were behind, they didn't quite have that aspect to their play. You can see that being cool, calm, and collected, working out nicely.
A lot of the points from Viperio won't be able to get too many priority targets, but we'll be able to secure the inhibitor tower with that counter engage, and going to be stepping away once again. London playing this one pretty slowly, but don't want to be giving up an inch.
Yeah, they got like 40 seconds left on that one already. It's pretty low. I think he has too much CDR to amplify it quite yet, but let's see what's he got. Yeah, he's only working with 30% CDR right now. But once this 4th Drake is picked up, he's also going to be pretty massive. Sykes, though, does have the package.
Oh, will be using it. Has to immediately fly away. It's the prank bro. Doesn't want to go for that fight.
There's a great zoning package, but...
Oh, really nice engage. So on for Kumkum, but Dimion Leech is going to be absolutely melted through. The ultimate won't have anyone else going because they're already dead. I think he then goes down, set, gets the big shield. Will it be enough to survive? It might not be. Kumkum over the wall, getting the damage down, getting the bullet time, and will be able to secure the damage. Chaz will be able to secure the dragon.
Look at the minions.
Look at the minions, they're breaking into the base. Members of Viperio need to be in full retreat. Mauer stepping forward, trying to stop any kind of recall, using the pillar to force the flash, and will be flashing after him. Articuno there as well. But here comes the ultimate from the Ord, who's already on the other side of the fight, looking towards Nidalee. Will be able to kill the cat. Kumkum in the base as well. Kaz, the only sort of defender right now. Sykes is back up, but I don't know if they'll have enough to defend this one. It's going to be a last stand from the mid laner and the marksman of Viperio. London United take down the second Nexus tower. Sykes looking for the damage. Articuno goes golden, but Victoria playing bouncer. Kumkum just wants the base. Kumkum just wants the win, but will go down for his troubles. Victorio's too tanky though, and Mauer will assist as the Nexus explodes, and London United win the game.
And there it is. Cool, calm, and collected from the London squad. Even though they fall behind early on, they know what's up, they know what they're doing, and they're able to play that one out and secure the win. And I look like a bit of a clown with my problems with their comp, but it did work. No, I'm vindicated. I said it would work in the 5v5. It was getting to that stage that would be hard, and it was hard to get to that stage. So I stand with what I said.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You said, look, the competition's really great in the 5v5. Turned out to be really great in the 5v5. But it's going to be difficult in those 3v3 situations or in those early game engages. And it really was, right? London United were well off the pace in laning phase, and they were occasionally taking fights where maybe they shouldn't have. But a lot of it was just down to the competitions that we had, right? Viperio was so much better at taking these early engages. Sykes was incredible on the Corki in those first couple of fights, but it just gets to the point where Zyra ultimate, Misfortune ultimate, Ornn ultimate, Orianna ultimate, there's not much you can do in that situation when they're funneling so much CC and damage directly into your damage dealers, and at the end of the day, Viperio just came up short.
Yeah.
MVP, Mr. Doctor, before we sail away into the sunset.
No idea. Articuno had some good moments. I'd say Kum because like just the way that his ults were turning around those fights, right? And again, quality over quantity. He was not a man's like, oh, I need to ult now. I'm the carrier. I got to ult. He was like, no, I'll just hit the right ult. And even though a lot of times it was just a one-man ult, it was always the best ult he could get.
And sometimes killing one member of the enemy team's enough with Misfortune ult. Even though, of course, we love hitting that 5-man ultimate that just decimates everyone. We did see some of those as well, to be fair, especially in that first fight where London United really took control of the game.
Yeah.
But taking out that priority target, getting that last tick of damage, which secures the objective for your team. That's what Misfortune ult is all about. And Kum definitely had that one on lock. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've got another 2 games coming for you. But sadly, it's not going to be me, myself and Doctor, because we're going to be going off. But it is going to be Jamada joined by Grant, our special guest caster, in the 3rd and 4th game of the day. So make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.